The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted.
January 23rd, 2019, and this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted here on the Podzilla 1985 network. What's up, guys? My name is Shannon Young. I'm going to be your host for tonight, Mr. 100. Down at the end of the table is the five-star man, Asa Gray.
Yes.
To my right, the lovely Allie, not actually a bear.
Hello.
And to my left, of course, the big D, Dalton Anthony. Yo. So, Dalton, I know you had a big night planned tonight of... Never mind. I don't want to do the joke. I was going to do a joke. Dalton's not here. He's doing some very important things, real life stuff. So he's going to be out of action tonight, but you do have the three of us here to talk about all the big news. And this is something that just broke not too long ago, and we're waiting for details on how deep it goes. But it looks like Abyss and Sanjay Dutt. Is it Dutt or Dutt?
It's Dutt.
Okay. Abyss and Sanjay Dutt have left Impact Wrestling, and apparently they're expected to sign with WWE very soon. The first part of that, I think, is fact. But the second part, what do you think? Is that going to happen?
I don't know.
All right. Allie, your friend is delirious. I'm going to address this to you. You're friends with Delirious? Anyway.
PW Insider is the one to break this story that they're gone. I don't doubt that, because apparently Impact sent an email, like company-wide, saying that they were leaving and wishing them, good luck in what... They weren't going to stop them from greater opportunities. And so it wouldn't surprise me if either or both ended up at WWE. I don't know if they will end up in an on-screen capacity at all.
Right.
I would actually be pretty surprised if Abyss did.
Well, I was going to ask you, if they do sign, what roles do you see them in? Because I mentioned this before, and you're absolutely right, that even Collar X Elbow, which is a...
It's Al Snow's
company, clothing line, which a lot of our friends who are wrestlers actually are with Collar X Elbow. But the group did, the Collar X Elbow posted, thank you, Abyss, good luck to you in WWE, and that he had signed with WWE. And, I don't know if that's a fact or if, like you said, Al Snow's just kind of being Al Snow, jumping the gun a little bit because it's so likely, Well,
and also, like, Al Snow works, I think he still works with Impact. I'm not 100% sure on that. He was a producer for them for a while, but he may have more knowledge than anything. It just maybe he may have said something before he was supposed to say it, or maybe it is just kind of like it's just a matter of time until that's announced.
Why can't they all be like us? Whenever we knew that the Hardys were going back to WWE because of reasons, but we couldn't say anything out of respect for
everything.
Out of respect for everything.
I think if either of them are going to be in any sort of in-ring capacity, I think Sanjay Dutt is more likely. But that said, it would not surprise me if there wasn't like a very short-term feud story built around Abyss, like to get him at a WrestleMania or like a SummerSlam or something.
I hesitate to say it because I don't think they think he's big enough name wise.
He alleged there's a pretty well documented story that this was years ago. He was going to sign with WWE and he was going to be Undertaker's opponent at WrestleMania that year.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, could they bring him in for go as the Undertaker's opponent?
Yeah, I don't think that he would be Undertaker's opponent now.
That's what I mean. Yeah, because
if you're
going to have a match with,
that'd be like Undertaker Sting at this point, where it would be more spectacle. Right. But I think people would prefer Sting.
Well, I would say not only that would be more spectacle, but if let's say the Undertaker only has one match left in him, which there's a good chance, one more WrestleMania, 2 WrestleManias, whatever, they're not going to use it on Abyss, even though that'd be a very cool match.
Yeah.
Now if Undertaker was going to work maybe SummerSlam or one of those, I could see them putting him in an angle with it. But I also just looked it up. Sanjay Dutt is 36, which is still really young. Yeah. Like he still has a way to go. Abyss is 45, which isn't out of the realm of possibility for continuing to wrestle.
Abyss is not old at any point, but looking at especially like his last couple appearances for Impact, like he's not moving around as well, which again, when you do that to your body for so long, Yeah, no one. That's just what happens. Like I don't mean that as a slight at all.
Right.
But I think just real quick as a sidebar, I think the more interesting part is Abyss is like one of the last people who was with Impact from day one.
Yeah.
Like he was there, he was a total nonstop
star.
action, Fox Sports.
Yep.
When Jeff Jarrett started the whole thing. And
along
so
with
him,
the AJ Styleses and the Samoa Joes and people like that.
And he is he's one of their guys. So it's kind of crazy to see him leaving. But that's kind of also why I think he might be doing more of a backstage thing, like going to NXT or as a coach or a producer, because he's working as a producer currently.
Do you think that maybe he would sign with AEW as maybe a producer or a road agent or something like that?
I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. But with the trending, story now of, it's because of WWE, I would be more surprised at that. Like I would actually be really, really surprised at that, as opposed to just like,
well, the timing just seems odd to me that Abyss and Sanjay Dutt would both be gone. Like why are they gone? They've been with TNA for so long. Like you said, like why all of a sudden are they leaving? Especially because Abyss was well taken care of from the looks of it. The timing with AEW coming in just seems awkward. I think if Al Snow hadn't said what he said through Collar X Elbow, it'd be maybe a little more realistic. But I feel like for someone to outright say congratulations to going to WWE, especially someone that's in the business.
And he tagged WWE in it too.
Right. I feel like you got to have some insider info or something to make an announcement like that. Or otherwise you just look like an ass. And maybe I'm wrong.
See, and that's like I genuinely do think that he's probably going to end up with WWE, because we don't know. There's all these rumors and stories that Jericho says that his contract for AEW is better than any contract WWE ever offered him. We don't know what kind of contracts and deals they're going to be giving backstage roles.
Right.
I know the Young Bucks did not enjoy their brief time in TNA. Cody and Brandy were there kind of as freelancers for a little bit, but they weren't there for very long. And so it's not out of the realm of the possibility that, they managed to make they probably clearly met Abyss while he was while they were both there, but so they could have had that kind of insider thing.
We've met Abyss.
We have.
We just watched a thing about the Young Bucks being in TNA a couple of days. They were Generation Me, weren't they?
Yeah.
Over there. We always thought it was a very cool name. But so were the Young Bucks, to be fair. What about Sanjay Dutt? Because I think do you think Abyss is a bigger name than Sanjay Dutt? For sure. And wasn't Sanjay Dutt also there since the beginning?
He was.
I think he was in the first match, wasn't he?
I don't know if I think he was there from the beginning, but he also took more of an extended. Like he had a leave from the company.
Yeah.
Abyss was pretty much there nonstop. There was a brief window where his contract had expired, but then he re-signed very quickly after that.
Right.
Whereas Sanjay Dutt actively had left the company for a while. But I do think he was there for that first show. But that said, Abyss is a former world champion. He has multiple segments with Hulk Hogan.
That great storyline where
I wasn't going to talk about any of that, but
where Hogan gave him his
Hall of Fame ring,
his WWE Hall of Fame ring, and that gave Abyss the power of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Dropping N-bombs and everything.
No, I lost my train of thought.
I am so sorry.
You're not.
I kind of am. Also, I was wrong. It was not Sanjay Dutt that was in the first match in TNA. That was actually Jorge Estrada, Sonny Siaka, and Jimmy Yang versus AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, and Loki.
I knew Jerry Lynn was in it, but yeah, I think Abyss is a bigger star, quote unquote, just because he might be more recognizable because he had that iconic mask. He did a lot of really cool stuff. Not to say that Sanjay Dutt had some amazing matches in Impact. He was a staple of the X Division while he was there. And that's why I kind of think he's more likely to end up at maybe NXT, maybe even 205 Live, which would be super cool.
Yeah.
If they do some sort of another Cruiserweight Classic or something like that, he could jump in there. But he's also been working as a agent and a producer.
I don't know if they can use it because of legal reasons, but do you think they come in as Sanjay Dutt and Abyss? I assume Impact has to own those names.
That's actually a really good question. Because, we got eventually, and it took quite a bit of doing, we got the Broken Hardys.
Right.
And, Sanctuary Benjamin and the Broken Universe and all of that.
And there's been lots of other people that were in TNA that use their TNA names. AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe. In fact, I can't think of many TNA guys that they rebranded.
But I don't...
Other than, Was it Walker?
Braden Walker.
Braden Walker. Yeah. Oh,
Which
man.
that was an era ago at this
right,
point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe they get. I don't. Maybe that's part of their contracts is they get to keep the name. Their ring names.
Because I can't see them bringing Abyss in and not calling him Abyss. Like, that would just be weird.
Yeah.
That would be like, Kane going somewhere else and being Kane, but not being called Kane.
Right. And at the same time, like, if they aren't planning on using them on screen, then it may not matter. So this is a wait and see thing. Like, I don't think it'll happen, but like when I read this story, my first thought was, I wonder what music they'll use for him when he comes out at the Royal Rumble.
That would be badass. All right. Well, later. We'll save that for later. We'll keep you guys updated on this. Good news. Speaking of the Broken Hardy universe, good news from Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy said he is not retired. He has been cleared to return to the ring, and he's in the best shape he's been in years, lightest he's been in 20 years. I've not seen any pictures of Matt Hardy lately, but if that's true, and he's in the best shape ever, and he's lighter than he has been in 20 years, I assume he looks phenomenal.
And he said that he has been given the green light phically. So,
but not emotionally?
Well, and I don't like that.
Because he is broken.
It seems...
He's got problems.
So, I mean, that could be a, Rumble surprise, potentially. It may just be Matt being Matt at this point.
Of all the Matt Hardys in WWE, he is certainly the most...
He is the most Matt Hardy.
Matt-like. I call him Matt Classic.
Which, I mean, that's like, it's great because he mentions like his spine is healing really well. Like taking this extended time off has been really good for him.
Right.
Because we talked about whenever everyone kind of assumed he was retiring, that his spine and his pelvis were kind of fusing.
Well, we assumed he was retiring, but didn't he actually say he was retiring?
Well, and then they
even gave him the big goodbye with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, and then he does this interview where he says no one ever actually said the word retired.
Oh my God.
Which again, Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Like someone take the keys to the social media away. Because he's either really terrible at it or really great at it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it's great news for him. Like, it's one of those things where we talked about it, like, when we kind of, talked about his career and everything that he's gone through professionally and personally. Just, that is someone who deserves a happy ending.
Matt Hardy will not die, was the saying. And damn it feels like it's true. I'm a huge Matt Hardy fan. When I went to I think it was my first or second WWE show. I think it was my first ever. Matt Hardy was in the opening match. It was when he was doing version 2. And everybody was there to see, like, I think Kurt Angle was there, and there were a bunch of big names. But I remember the most, two things I remember the most from that show is the first person that came out was Matt Hardy, and he had his music, and I was cheering so loud, and I was the only one that cheered that loud because everybody else liked Matt Hardy, but I liked Matt Hardy. So I was the obsessive fan, like being the internet wrestling fan. And the other thing I remember from that show was Trish Stratus wrestled. And there was a little girl that walked by, and she was probably like 9, and she yelled out, "Trish is a hoe!" And I remember thinking to myself, all of a sudden I developed a monocle and a suit, and I went, "Oh my God!"
You grasped your pearls.
My monocle fell off and twirled as I got offended by it. Good luck to Matt Hardy. I want to see him come back. Yeah, and I think Rumble return. That sounds good.
That could be good.
Definitely won't happen in that case. Ciabatta bread. I just wanted to make that joke because I like ciabatta bread. No, Shibata is training for a comeback despite doctors believe he won't be cleared. Remind me of who Shibata is because I think I know who it is.
Shibata is the New Japan wrestler who broke his skull. Like,
was it during the there was like an exchange with another wrestler? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
and he this was the one where I think it was.
Were they headbutts or?
Yeah, it might have been Wrestle Kingdom last year where he just like walked to the ring and got like an amazing ovation because he legitimately almost died.
Gotcha. No, you're talking about now.
Yeah.
And he's talking about making a comeback. How bad was his injuries that it's been over a year now?
I think so. Like, no, I mean, like legit almost died.
Right.
Like, no, the fact that he's able to walk I'm trying to think of the word. Unassisted. Holy crap.
I gave you the assist.
Radio professional.
Yeah.
The fact that he could walk unassisted to the ring and get in the ring was like a great moment to see because we didn't know if that was even going to be possible. And so now that, the fact that wrestling means so much to him that it's almost like this is one of those things. It's the Daniel Bryan thing of just like the doctor's like, nope, that's not going to happen. Like we don't want you to die. But he's like, no, this is the only thing I want to do.
Right. But after taking an injury like that, and with Bryan too, like at what point do you hang it up? Like I would be terrified to go back into the ring. And maybe it would be different if I was a wrestler and I had done it for so long.
And it was the only thing you knew. And
it was the only
like
thing I knew and that I loved.
Right.
But something like that, especially with that, because I saw those headbutts and it was just brutal. I don't think I could come back. I would be too scared.
I don't know. But it definitely speaks to the passion that he has, good or bad.
There is a thin line between, insanity and passion.
Did you ever see
thin line between
that match?
And shakes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was
probably for the best.
Yeah.
You don't like car wrecks, do you?
Especially when you know like what the aftermath is. It's real hard to watch.
Right. But that's another one we'll keep an eye on, and we wish him the best, and no matter what he does. Impact on Twitch is allowing co-streaming, and they even have their own Discord channel, which that's kind of cool that they have their own Discord channel.
I need to find out. I don't know if it's launched yet, or if like the official one has launched yet.
Because we have a Discord channel, and we cannot give out the info.
I was gonna say, I mean, we have one.
Yeah. What I don't understand, though, is what is co-streaming? Because this is the second time I've seen that term in the week.
Co-streaming is essentially like watch-along. So, like, if, like E3, whenever I watch all of the E3 press conferences, I'm not just watching the stream of the conference. I'm usually watching, like, Kinda Funny. They are streaming themselves watching the E3 conference. So you're getting the video of the E3 announcements, as well as them talking over it, discussing it.
So it's like a picture-in-picture type thing?
Kind of, but it allows them to commentate over it and, give their reactions when big news happens. And it's kind of like that. So we could, if we wanted, set up like we could use our Xbox here at the store if we wanted to do commentary for Impact.
Is that not allowed normally?
It depends. Like some things you can't like simul broadcast, like UFC, you definitely can't like. Because that's because usually those are like pay-per-views.
Right.
So, you have to pay $60 to watch the match. You can't just then broadcast it elsewhere. And I think, I'm not 100% sure up on it what the rules are. I think it varies kind of by channel and by organization. But the fact that Impact is doing this is super cool because, one, the co-streaming is cool because you get to have, if, like I said, if that was something we wanted to do on a Friday night, we could set up the stream and watch. It would be a way for us, like if people from Podzilla or like CCW or whatever wanted to watch the show with us,
right?
We could interact
with guests and stuff like that.
We could interact with them in the chat.
That's
we could
a cool idea.
Do commentary and stuff.
Is it just through Twitch?
I think so. Yeah.
So like we can't go on YouTube and stream it.
That I'm not 100% sure. Like we might be.
Could I live stream on YouTube Impact on Twitch with our? Or is this all way too detailed?
I don't know enough about Twitch to know that, but
okay,
I don't think you can, because I think it is since it's a Twitch broadcast,
it has to be on Twitch. You can't
then do like picture-in-picture on YouTube from another platform. But again, I have no idea how that works.
Because we're struggling just to get the YouTube channel up. I don't want to have to go to Twitch right after that.
So yeah, but that's super cool. And then the so that would be a cool way to be able to because we can't do that with the WWE network. We can't set up a watch party and stuff like that. If the closest thing we could do would be to set up a camera and just have it show us watching. So someone else would have to have another screen, like watch it on their phone or on if you have two PC monitors.
Yeah.
Set up, do one of those, but
random thing. But do you remember? I love this story. Do you remember the guy that live streamed UFC
and he held a controller to make it look like he was playing? He titled it as like UFC 2019 or whatever.
That's so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
And then just real quick too, I think it's awesome that they're getting the Discord channel up because the words are hard.
That could also be a disaster, though.
Well, I mean, potentially, but it's also a cool way for everybody to come in and, have a central hub where fans can interact and
but it's
talk. Which at the same time, yes, when you have when
you have that many people, especially because Discord isn't just text; it's also microphone. So can you imagine having that many people in a room together at the same time, especially if microphones are available?
I don't know if I don't know how Discord works mostly. I only log on. I log on to check like ours, and then Marco and Bailey set one up whenever we played Smash when it was like me and Dalton played Smash with them. Yeah. But I'm an old man and Discord scares me, so I don't know how that works.
Did you shake your fist at it?
Probably.
Several times.
So I think it's mostly chat based. I don't think there's voice.
Oh, there's definitely voice because that's how we play. Like when we had the Discord channel to play Heroes of the Storm and stuff like that, and we would all talk to each other on there. So I know for sure it has voice, but I think you can turn it off. And if I'm Impact, I would definitely turn it off for this because 1, you don't want that many people screaming at once. 2, you don't want to open it up to like
trolls.
Because there's gonna be assholes that go in there and start dropping N-words or harassing women. It's gonna be a nightmare because people can't have nice things because of some little assholes. Hey, speaking of not being able to have nice things and video games, it was announced at the Mortal Kombat 11 event, which you watched and I watched most of, and was pretty excited about it, that Ronda Rousey, the baddest woman on the planet, will be voicing one of my first video game crushes. Hunter, hit that crush button. Sonya Blade.
Yes, we talked about it last week that it was a rumor, but then it was confirmed literally the next day at that stream event. We talked about it on Nerd Up a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think Ronda is a good enough actress to play Sonya Blade, and even just those little bits of voice clips that we got,
they were kind of flat.
They didn't land for me, and normally I wouldn't care. Like, that's cool that, they're doing stunt casting, they're getting more eyes on the game. That's great. But, like, NetherRealm Studios is a company that genuinely, like, their story mode matters. Yeah. Like, their story matters. Now, maybe Sonya Blade won't be a big focus on this one, but it's like, for me, personally, it's a miss. But again, like, I get, like, she is a huge fan. Like, and people were trying to say, like, saying stuff like, oh, she's not a fan. She didn't even really like Mortal Kombat. Like, I don't believe that at all. Like, she's
a gamer.
Yeah, if you know anything about Ronda Rousey, like, she is a huge nerd,
right?
Which is great. So this is no doubt for her a dream come true,
right?
So I'm happy for her in that regard, but like selfishly, just like I
saw someone post online in one of the articles that I read about it. They were like, okay, but name one other person that's played Sonya Blade. And in my head, immediately, I was like, Bridget Wilson in the movie, followed up. I don't remember who played her in the second one, but Carrie Hoskins played her in the game. Like, I started thinking of all the people that actually played it, because I had a huge crush on Sonya Blade when I was younger, especially Mortal Kombat. I don't know if it was 2 or 3. It was whenever Carrie Hoskins took over, because I actually had, I think it was Game Pro. It was one of those old magazines, but I actually had the one that had her in it, where they were talking about her doing the role and like pictures and video stuff, and she was gorgeous, and she my god, I loved it. I love that thing so much. I wish I still had it. Zane Laney, if you're listening, I know you can find things for me. Find that issue. But it is cool that it's getting more eyes on Mortal Kombat. Not like Mortal Kombat really needed more eyes, because it's already incredibly popular.
That said, is it a week away? We are 1 week away from their first Combat Cast, where they're going to announce Cabal.
He wasn't in 10, was he?
He was not. I think he might have been one of those characters that was in the story mode.
Like Baraka.
That you had to fight. Yeah, Baraka, which, shout out to Barakas, because ever since they announced Baraka's back, I keep calling him the wrong name.
You see that video with Barakas? Long story.
But then I have his song in my head. Because it was like, Baraka, Rain, Sindel. Might have been Cabal too. I don't know.
I'm assuming Johnny Cage is in it.
Oh, he hasn't been announced yet. I would be greatly surprised if he wasn't, but he has not been announced yet.
We're going to move on, but I want to say that I was so hoping they would never make another Mortal Kombat game, because I know they're going to kill Johnny Cage off at some point, and he's my absolute favorite Mortal Kombat character.
Honestly, if you're going to cast a wrestler as a Mortal Kombat competitor,
you've already got one.
Yeah, how do you not just make The Miz? Did you see the Up Up Down Down video where they met?
Well, Daniel
Michael Mizanin.
Yes,
The Miz.
and Daniel Padina. God, I'm going to freaking go out of my mind.
But yes, he got the actor.
Daniel Pacina.
Yeah.
Who played who was Johnny Cage in the first and second game, before he was fired from Mortal Kombat for basically appearing as Johnny Cage in another fighting game, making fun of Mortal Kombat.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so he didn't, like, he dressed up kind of like him, and he did kind of the same mannerisms, and when, I think it was Midway at the time, found out, they were just like, what? Why? That's stupid. And they let him go. Lyndon Ashby played him in the first movie. He was really good. He's the best part of the first movie. Let's move on. Aiden English is joining the 205 Live commentary team. Did I ever make you watch Mortal Kombat?
No.
Oh, it's really good. To me, it's one of the better video game movies.
I fucked my taxes up. Yeah, sorry. I already filed and everything, but turns out I got a W-2 from Red Lobster, which I shouldn't have, because my last day at Red Lobster was in November of 2017, so I don't know how.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. no, it doesn't.
So
and
all right, we'll talk about it after the show because that actually happened to Lindsay. She got a W-2 in after she'd already filed her taxes, and she ended up having to pay it on the next one. She had to pay like back stuff. It was a mess. But if you haven't worked there since 2017,
and I made like
there was no way in hell that you should have to pay that.
I earned a whopping. Let's see, my net earning was $9.71. So I'm sure that's fine.
You don't even have to report that, do you?
I did apparently. I don't know how it works. Sorry, that's
it's
I
okay.
just I kind of got
the people love us. They love us on here. Aiden English joined the 205 Live commentary team.
Yeah,
Aiden English.
It's weird. I don't know. I don't get it. Me and Dalton. It was weird because me and Dalton were actually just talking about him at the store on Monday because he was playing 2K and Aiden English has his whole like where he sings his intro in the game.
Oh, that's neat. I guess I'd never played as Aiden English.
And so we were just like, oh, I kind of missed, like, I liked them together as Rusev, and then that terrible story happened, and then he just hasn't been seen since.
Also,
so this is, they pointed out that it's only through WrestleMania season. So I don't.
What is WrestleMania season? Just leading up to WrestleMania?
Yeah, pretty much. Like we're in it now because like Royal Rumble, the build up for Royal Rumble's the
road to WrestleMania starts at the Royal Rumble.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of,
but his first night was last night on 205 Live, so that has already happened. I didn't see it, and I haven't heard anything if he was really great or really terrible either way. But it's an interesting choice. I like Aiden English as a character.
Speaking of video games, they did release the newest content update for WWE 2K19 that adds Mike and Maria, Ricochet, EC3, Lacey Evans, Candice LeRae. God, where's my brain at tonight? But that's out now. I saw Dalton playing as Mike and Maria, and I don't know. It didn't look like Maria, and I don't know enough about Mike Kanellis to. I also feel bad that I call him Mike Kanellis because it's actually Mike Bennett, right?
Well, I mean, in real life, but no, he is in WWE. He is Mike Kanellis.
Well, because he's so in love with Maria,
right?
Why wouldn't you?
He took her last name.
Speaking of Mike and Maria Kanellis have allegedly been pulled from the tour. And planned network special has been canceled. What was their network special?
So this is all like super grain of salt rumor mill. Because with the whole, like we talked about it last week, how the Revival allegedly asked for their release, as well as a bunch of people, including Mike and Maria Kanellis. Maria took to Instagram and like totally shut down those rumors.
Denied it. Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, this news rumor broke that they were removed from a tour, and then their network collection was going to be a Valentine's Day love-themed like collection on the network.
That makes sense.
Which makes sense and could have been a lot of fun, but allegedly that's been canceled. So there's a lot of reckless speculation going on online that we're not going to get into because it's just wildly unhelpful.
Right.
And in some cases just insulting, but it's one of those like, okay, and the initial rumor of when they asked for their release supposedly wasn't even to go to AEW. It's because Mike wanted to go back to ROH. So
I didn't hear about these other things like the insulting ones. I don't really care to hear it.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay.
But the someone on Reddit pointed out like what a power move it is though. Get hired by the company. Get your maternity leave, have them pay for your rehab, and then, all right, thanks, bye.
Boy, that is a nihilistic way to look at something.
Which, in fairness, like they showed up on 205 Live, and then just kind of nothing really came of that.
Yeah, I don't remember anything happening to them since like the very beginning, like the first month or two, and then they literally fell the F off.
Well, it's because they debuted at Money in the Bank. They started that program with Sami Zayn, but then that's when he went to rehab. And pretty much like since he's come back from rehab, they've been on the road, but they haven't been on TV until 205 Live, where they had like a segment with, I think it was Drake Maverick maybe. And then after that, that's been like a week or two.
Gotta give it to Dalton when he said he was scared of what was going to happen to Mike Bennett if they went to WWE. And we were like, give it a chance. But to be fair, if he did go into rehab,
right? I mean that totally
circumstances.
Yeah,
circumstances. How far was the life the shelf life of that gimmick? Probably not terribly long, but it could have evolved.
But that always always happens.
Could have mutated for sure. John Cena, speaking of things that happen, likely to miss the Royal Rumble due to filming a movie.
Yes.
I thought. All right, I guess I didn't look into it enough. I thought he hurt himself.
Okay,
is that a gimmick to get him to film a
story.
movie?
So basically,
son of a bitch, man.
So they announced John Cena to be in the Royal Rumble, knowing full well that he was scheduled to start filming that day, so that he was probably never actually going to be in the Rumble, which I think is super shady, but that's a whole other topic.
That is super shady.
Apparently, they issued out a text alert from that WWE app saying that due to an ankle injury because of Drew McIntyre, because he put him in the ankle lock in that fatal 4-way, that he aggravated an injury while working out, and he was questionable for the Royal Rumble. Now, this is a whole line of speculation and rumors that someone else was supposed to come in and start a huge story with John Cena.
Was it Lars Sullivan?
Yeah, that Lars was supposed to come in, injure Cena, take him out of the Rumble, and then that was going to be the Mania match. And now that everything kind of seems to be in flux.
Right.
So, but yeah, John Cena.
And the rumor, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but the reason Sullivan hasn't been on TV yet, and it's just, I don't know if it's speculation or if it's proven at this point, is because he's apparently so nervous about working the big time thing that he had a panic attack and they took him off.
He had a major panic attack.
Yeah.
The again, we didn't talk about it when it first happened just because it is all speculation.
Right.
I didn't put it on the show.
Right.
But yeah, he was supposed to be on a dark match at Raw, but then he went home because he was having such a major panic attack. So like, okay, that's fine. Take care of yourself. We'll see. Just come to SmackDown. And then he no-showed SmackDown because he just went home.
Right.
Which apparently, which
that sucks, man.
Super sucks. And Dalton and I were talking about it, and we weren't trying to rag on the guy, but on the one hand, it's cool that WWE seems to be taking this seriously, and it's not just he's effed.
Right.
Because they told him, take care of yourself, whatever, and then come back. But at the other hand, if you have, do you put the faith in someone like this who is supposed to have a WrestleMania match and program with the biggest star they've had in the last 10 years?
Who they've built up as a monster free agent already. You know what I mean? Lars Sullivan. No, I'm just saying the Lars Sullivan build.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you take that? Do you take that and then put that again against the face of the company?
I don't.
Do you? Yeah. Do you? Be like, okay, maybe this is too much too soon. Do you ease him into something else, or do you try to go with the story at hand? So it's a very delicate situation.
Because that's a hot start. Just going right against John
Cena.
Ali, what do you think about it? You got a guy who, and I'm going to draw you into this, a guy that apparently has had panic attacks that may not be ready for prime time. Do you keep taking chances on him? Do you try to work him into it? Or at what point do you go, okay, maybe this is, like Asa said, this is too much. We got to tone it back. Let's maybe work him against someone smaller. Let's take our time with it. Or do you just scrap it completely and go, you're not ready?
Probably work into it, because a lot of anxiety a lot of the times can be managed if you are able to build ways to help yourself manage it, really. So if they work with him and work on making, because I think just work into it. I mean, yeah. Okay.
I'm still staring at you.
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying we're all having slips of the tongue tonight. I think it's because Dalton's not here. It throws us off. Because at this point, Dalton would have jumped in with something stupid.
Slip of the tax finger.
He's having all kinds of issues that I don't even want to talk about. That's why I addressed it to you. So you work him into it.
Yeah.
I think there's such a scary line, and not a scary line. That's a stupid thing to say. There's a line between, like, if you're a company, if you're a boss, and you have someone that has issues, like, you want to be sensitive to the fact that he has issues, and you want to try to help people or create a situation where they can make it. But at the same time, if you're running a company and you've got money on the line and stuff like that, at what point do you go, okay, I feel bad that you have these issues, but I have to look out. I can't put myself out just to take care of you.
Right.
You know?
No, yeah.
That's a shitty situation to be in.
Like I said, it's a super delicate situation.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are, he can't get fired because he has a mental condition, but at the same time, yeah, it's a sticky situation. It's super unfortunate. It's super unfortunate.
But even shittier than that, because at least with Lars Sullivan, like, I've been in a position where I've had panic attacks. I know you have too. They're debilitating, and it's not something you can plan, and it's something you deal with.
Yeah, it's not something you can plan your day around. It just
it just happens. And some of them are better than others. Some of them leave you in a puddle, and some are just kind of like a bad feeling. But worse than that is John Cena. Like, the fact, I didn't know this about the movie thing, that he's going to film a movie, and they advertise him for the Rumble. And not only did they advertise him for the Rumble, they made such a big deal out of it. Like I'm not missing out on WrestleMania this year. I'm not going to miss I'm announcing myself for the Rumble. Like, I didn't know what a bait and switch. At least they didn't wait until the day of to do it, because I feel like that's something they also would do with no problem. Advertise him right up to the day of, and then go like, "Oh, Cena's not going to be here," or not even mention it. I could see them doing that. He doesn't show up, and they just hope nobody noticed.
Yeah. So they're kind of explaining it away with he aggravated the ankle injury that he suffered at the hands of Drew McIntyre. So
good for him. Did you see the story about CM Punk and the AEW thing?
No.
I don't understand this story. Let me look it up real quick. And apparently there is a copyright on a CM Punk shirt that AEW is pursuing or something. Let me figure it out. All right. Oh, well, it's gone from that site now.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
From 4-1 Mania. I'm going to just read straight from them. A copyright violation for a CM Punk shirt is being pursued by All Elite Wrestling, according to a writer on Twitter. Douglas Hinckley shared a picture of a notice that a CM Punk t-shirt on Redbubble was taken down after it was found to violate Pro Wrestling Tees copyright. Of note, the subject matter includes AEW as well as Pro Wrestling Tees. Whether this means that Pro Wrestling Tees is moving more closely under the AEW umbrella, or that CM Punk has a deal with the promotion of some kind of merchandise, isn't clear. However, Punk has been very clear in the past that he is not interested in returning to wrestling right now, so the former is more likely. So what I gather from this basically is that there was a shirt on Redbubble that got pulled for a violation because of copyright, and they listed it as Pro Wrestling Tees as the copyright holder and AEW, which is interesting, but I don't
Does
understand.
Does it show the shirt?
Yeah, it's
Does it have anything to do with like something that would be more like it's just a CM Punk shirt that happens to also have elements that AEW would not like?
It looks like it's just Punk like this, and it says best in the world. Maybe Jericho?
No, because they like that's the best in the world thing has been used by so many people by so long. But I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't think that this is anything that Punk is going to
be involved with.
Going to be involved with AEW.
Although to be fair, if ever Punk was going to come back to wrestling, this would be the best opportunity in the world. I
genuinely like this. Sounds more like to me that because this wasn't taken by Redbubble, or this wasn't taken off of Pro Wrestling Tees. This was taken off of Redbubble.
Right.
So it could just be a design that is like what that article says, where it's nope, that's a design that's close to what is on a PWT store, because Punk has a PWT store on PWT stuff. My brain is gone now.
It's okay. No, it's okay. I got you.
So that could just be again, if AEW, because the Elite have had a relationship with PWTs forever,
right?
Like since the founding of the Elite, and before that with the Bullet Club and everything. So I mean, I think that's way more likely.
But again, if Punk was ever going to come back to wrestling, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, I don't think it will. But you know, to put everything in plain sight, his UFC career is probably done at this point. He could probably retire and just enjoy the rest of his life. I have no doubt that he could. But if he gets that itch, you know, that he wants to do something, this is an amazing opportunity. This is a startup thing. It's got all the buzz around it. It's a new way to look at pro wrestling. I could see him wanting to be a part of it in some way.
Yeah,
but with that said, I don't think he will.
Someone on Reddit kind of floated the idea of who would be a huge get for AEW would be AJ.
And isn't his contract coming up?
No, his Punk's wife.
Oh, AJ Mendez.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. She was an incredible talent on her own. No, I don't want to talk about it.
So say you can try to retcon all the things you said about her, but
no, I never said she wasn't good. It's just that, and I know this is gonna sound bad, but she was just so little. And you know, when you see someone so little going up against people like at the time, especially Beth Phoenix, you know, bigger, stronger people, it's. I know pro wrestling's a work, and even if it wasn't a work, smaller people can win fights against bigger people. Just because you're big doesn't mean you're the toughest. But it would be like if Hogan in his prime fought Rey Mysterio. There would be a part of you that would look at the two and go, this looks skewed. But that's also because I'm old, and my brain doesn't work correctly anymore. So let's just not talk about it. I really liked AJ. She was a nerd too.
Still is.
Her and Caitlyn together was one of my favorite duos.
Then throw in Big E.
Oh
and
my
just
God, Biggie! Throw Biggie into anything. I swear
what's
to
the
God.
pure version of the Bermuda Triangle?
That
Just happiness.
or the New Day?
I mean, what would you call it though? Like there would be a name for it.
The New Day, the New Triangle. Allie, what do you think about potatoes?
Potatoes are great.
You're Irish.
I also don't drink
That's fair.
or beat my women. Not that I have women.
What's wrong with potatoes? They're literally good in any form.
I disagree with that. Have you ever tried to eat a potato? Just you grab one out of a bag and just bite into it like an apple.
No, but
you said any form.
if you, but I have done like sliced raw potato,
Like chips?
You wash it, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
Might try that. He's got good
It ain't-
ideas.
It ain't bad.
We're going to talk about Raw and SmackDown real quick. I did not watch all of Raw or SmackDown, but I do know some of the Cliff Note versions of it.
Yeah, biggest news coming out of because this was the go home shows for the Royal Rumble. Some of the biggest news is we got Alexa Bliss announced that she's officially going to be in the Rumble match, which is huge.
Did see that, but even better than that was the debut of the classiest woman in professional wrestling, Lacey Evans, who I am a huge fan of. Sometimes I think the gimmick things for stuff like that can be a little bit too much. Like Ember Moon, I love Ember Moon, but sometimes her look is a little too like
Well, because her look doesn't correspond to her character
at all. Lacey Evans definitely does.
Yeah.
But when she comes out looking like someone, from a 1950s war movie,
Right. No, yeah, she's like an old school pinup.
Yeah. And sometimes it throws me off because it's like that's a little too gimmicky for me, but she makes that shit work so well, and she's so good. I love Lacey Evans. Ever since I saw her in I think it was the Mae Young Classic was the first time I saw her, fell in love with her.
She has a great look. She has a great gimmick. There's just something about her wrestling that doesn't click with me, and maybe it's just because I need to see more of it, and maybe I'm being unfair. But that's just I don't. And it was weird that she would come out and like run down Alexa, because Alexa I don't want to see go face,
Right.
Because of how good she is as a heel.
Yeah. I saw someone on, I think it was 4-1 Mania, said that Alexa is the great heel, and then, finally someone comes out who's more obnoxious than her, and which is Lacey Evans. I love her voice, too. That slight southern draw, and she speaks a little slower, so it sounds like she does it so well. Did you watch that video with me, didn't you?
No,
You weren't there when I watched it?
not that one.
I could have sworn you were, but I don't know. My brain is fried. Also on Raw, we had what I thought was a pretty cool moment, the tag title match.
We'll get to that because that's the big news.
That's the big news.
That's the big news from Raw. There was a kind of an interesting segment with Finn Balor and Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, and Strowman was there too. But where,
by the way, McMahon all over WWE this week.
Yeah, because ratings are down, man. Got to get Vince back to just being a dick too.
Yep. That didn't take long.
Tells the story of David and Goliath and how like laughable the idea of that Balor could win, which I thought was interesting. But I mean, it plays into this whole like you never believed in me thing. They believe in me, but they don't. Then he has a one-on-one match against Strowman, which with Lesnar at ringside, that looks like Balor's about to win. He hits the coup de grace on Strowman, but then Lesnar comes in, hits an F5. I think that is showing. I don't know. Balor looked amazing. I'm super happy he's getting this opportunity. I don't think he's going to win, but we'll get to that closer to the Rumble. But like that segment was really interesting because it wasn't just, Vince supporting the good guy. It was like he was building to that, and then, that hard left turn of.
So did he use the story of David and Goliath to build Balor up, or
No, the opposite
So
actually.
he talked about how unbelievable the idea that David could beat Goliath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then
He made it seem like he was going to. Oh, of course, the little guy will conquer the beast and the giant. But then he was like, no, but that's totally unbelievable. No one could. That could never happen.
It could never happen to a boy. Or so you thought. We also got a great tag match with Ronda Rousey and Natalya going up against Sasha Banks and Bayley.
Ronda's first loss in WWE. She was on the losing teams. Natalya's the one who tapped out to the bank statement.
But she still lost, technically.
Yeah,
still a L on the list. I wish Sasha was going to win the title on Sunday because she has been going so hard. lately. Have you been checking out her Instagram posts? She is cussing now.
Is she? But she's not saying bitch.
No. She's. I read one today where she said like I don't give a shit about like, and I'm like, oh man, that's some serious language for a WWE person to drop on their Instagram. And I think they're trying to make it seem more realistic. They're trying to like replicate that Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, Becky thing where it's like it's not they're trying to blur the lines of like, oh, they really hate each other type thing.
Right.
And I don't think it works as well with Sasha simply because they have not had much of a story building up to it. Other than literally Ronda Rousey, 2 weeks ago, maybe even last week,
just challenged her.
Yeah, I want to fight Sasha.
Yeah,
because you could tell that the women's tag team titles, and unless they pull a swerve, are pretty much being made to put on Sasha and Bayley to start off with. And maybe I'm wrong about that. That's the swerve is they'll put it on someone else. But
yeah,
it's
iconic.
Okay, I like it. There was not a funny part in the match, but I noticed it when I watched the video recapping it. That there was a part where the screen just went black. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, that was weird. I thought it was my internet connection. And then I read a report saying that there was a wardrobe malfunction. I was like, what are they talking about? And apparently Natalya accidentally pulled down Sasha's shorts and exposed her butt for a couple of seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, which you can, of course, did not show up on cable, but some satellite people, because they hit the button as soon as they could.
Right.
So kudos to them for like covering.
Well, usually that's why there's that like 7-second delay.
Right. But there were some people that got it on satellite and posted it, and I mean she's wearing underwear and stuff, so it's not like it's a huge scandalous thing. But my favorite part about it is I think it was Dawson from the Revival. I think it was him posted. 'Cause I'm gonna do the thing. Which one's Dawson? Which one's
Dash? Which one's Dawson?
Which one's the one with the bald with the? You don't even know. No one knows.
No, now I'm in my head about it. That's
because I thought that was Dawson, but I'm questioning myself.
No,
now.
I think that might be Wilder. Which one's Dash? Now you legitimately just have me in my head because I was so happy. Which Revival is which?
Because if you look up
WWE.
just the name Dash Wilder, it's nothing but pictures of both of them. So you're like, well, that doesn't help.
What if you look up the other one?
It's still pictures of both. It's the same pictures. It's so weird.
All right, here we go.
We're gonna find out.
Dawson is the bald one.
Okay, so that is Dawson.
Yeah.
I believe it was Dawson who posted, like, nice job covering this wardrobe malfunction. Something happened like 2 weeks ago, and my butt showed for like 10 seconds, and no one did anything. It's because he has a nicer butt, probably. I don't know.
Rude.
Cool. What else on Raw? Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley fought.
Yep.
Bobby Lashley won.
I like that match. I like that. That might be a feud. It was also really nice to see Apollo Crews get to show personality other than just smiling.
Yeah.
Because they had the pose off. And then the only reason Lashley won is because Lio Rush got involved. So that was an unclean finish. So
Seth Rollins cut a hot promo where he did invoke Dr. Martin Luther King because it was Martin Luther King's birthday. He didn't say anything bad.
Right.
It was just a thing, but it's still a little, it's always a little cringy when you do something like that.
Better or worse than curb stomping Big E on Martin Luther King Day. Because it's the yearly reminder that that's a thing that happened.
It is. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre had a great match, and Seth Rollins won. Good on him. Things happened. I don't know.
That's pretty much it. Other than
Baron Corbin beating Elias again.
Yeah, that happened.
Clean.
The big news from Raw though is Revival demanded Vince McMahon that they wanted a good referee because the only reason they aren't champions is because the referee was missing calls. Kurt Hawkins was named. The segment itself wasn't good, but Kurt Hawkins was named the referee, and he proceeds to be the greatest referee in the history of the WWE. He's enforcing the tag rope rules. He's catching like feet on the ropes during a pin, holding the tights during a pin. Dawson holding Gable's leg, I think it was, so he couldn't kick out, and he's just like stopping it. He's having none of it. Revival loses the match. Gable and Rude leave, and they blame Hawkins. So they start to beat down Hawkins until Zack Ryder makes the save. Major Brothers reunion.
You look at me like, oh, Shannon, bet you were excited, and it's like, kind of. But
because to me, this very much just feels like it's okay. We don't want to put the championships on the Revival because they might be leaving,
right?
But so we'll give them a tag team to be able to beat, or the more interesting concept, which is a theory from Reddit that we've talked about before, of the reason that you have Kurt Hawkins being 0 and like 162 is because whoever he does beat, that's the kill shot. Like, okay, well, you're done because you lost to the guy who hasn't won a match in 2 years. Do they do that to the Revival, knowing that, well, they're just going to leave anyway?
If they go to AEW, good luck going to AEW with a loss to Kurt Hawkins.
Which goes against, the story of all of the talent that is unhappy with WWE is going to receive a push to keep them from jumping ship.
And when I first heard that, my first thought was, I feel like they're doing that for Ryder and Hawkins, because if there's two people on the roster that I think of who are super talented and could get really over with the fans, it's Ryder and Hawkins. They're both so good, and they have gotten nothing in WWE for so long. They could definitely be on the way out to AEW. So now you put them together. They have their toy podcast, which has been pretty successful, and all the great merchandise, and Dalton's a huge fan of it. And you put them together because it's a natural fit. They know each other so well. They used to be tag champs together when they were the Edgeheads. And now you could possibly have a legitimate tag team in Ryder and Hawkins. And that's what I hope for. But what I'm afraid of is exactly what you said, and the Revival is just going to steamroll them, and then it's, back to nothing. Yeah, back to obscurity.
Yep.
And I don't want that to happen. I love Zack Ryder, and I never was a big fan of Kurt Hawkins, but I think that's only because I didn't know him so well. And his look is incredible. Like, he's good. He's damn good, and he's a great ref. On to SmackDown.
Yes.
SmackDown started off with a big three-way kind of conversation between Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte.
That's the only thing I've seen.
And it was pretty good. Man, I feel like they're really still pushing Becky hard, which is great.
Yeah,
like
as they should.
As they should. Mm-hmm. All three of those women, though, incredible.
Becky and Asuka brawled. There was a good segment with AJ and Daniel Bryan and Vince McMahon, where Bryan refused to get in the ring with the sociopath AJ Styles. Yeah. Called out Vince for being a baby boomer and ruining the world. Pretty entertaining stuff there.
Which I thought was pretty interesting, because you had Vince McMahon on Raw shitting on Finn Balor, the good guy, and then you have him on SmackDown
demanding Bryan get in the ring
to fight AJ Styles, the good guy.
Yeah. So
inconsistency across the board.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about inconsistency of, Seth Rollins, you don't just automatically get a rematch. But, this person just said they're in the Royal Rumble? Okay. You're hurt. Cool.
Well, it's different.
That's great.
That's different.
The only two things that I really wanted to mention for SmackDown, for me at least, was the New Day did an interview where they brought in Tony Schimmel just to immediately get rid of him. That was funny. And then Big E says that Kofi has something so insane planned, but you have to wait until Sunday because they're not going to ruin the surprise. Big E's also responded to a tweet from WWE about who is Mr. Royal Rumble that didn't include Kofi, with just a gif of Kofi looking disappointed and confused.
Well, to be fair, all Kofi's ever done in the Royal Rumble was lose spectacularly. But in a work sport, that is the best part, is the people that are so memorable.
Yeah. And then go ahead.
I forgot to mention that Cesaro beat...
That was the other thing that I wanted to talk about.
Cesaro beat Miz. And more importantly is that Shane got involved, and there was a big brawl, and they powerbombed Shane through a table on top of Miz.
Yeah. The big part for...
Boy, is that going to suck on Sunday, by the way, when Shane and Miz win the tag titles.
I don't think it will, because I like this dynamic, because it's constantly kind of evolving, where we actually had a segment where Miz was laid out. There was a section of this match. Cesaro is holding Shane McMahon's head as they're standing up. Sheamus bro kicks his head off, and then they start to kind of put the boots to him on the ground. Miz crawls over and lays on top of Shane. So he's taking the hits instead of Shane. And that's like the first time we've ever seen The Miz do that as a character. So,
but if it goes right back to Miz just playing like this was Miz's plan to eventually dick over Shane.
See, but I don't think there's a point to that anymore. So
you don't think that's what they're going to go with?
Yeah, I think that, and especially because the original rumor is that the original plan was supposed to be Shane was going to turn on Miz, but then when the whole no GMs thing happened and everything got scrapped, that got shelved, and now seems like they may just be a tag team. So I don't think they'll win at the Rumble, but I easily could see it happening. But I just thought that was such a cool character moment for The Miz that was so out of character.
Right.
Not out of character, but it's like we haven't seen this dynamic of Miz yet.
I still think they're going to win. But we'll see. We're going to get to our Royal Rumble preview here in a second. First off, we got NXT. Oh, just stabbed myself in the eye. We got NXT. Oh, my God, that hurts. Phoenix.
Yes.
To preview. And this is going to be on Saturday. And just real quick, let's go over the matches. Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. Mm-hmm. Dalton's not here to gush over Cassius Ohno, but I hear Matt Riddle's going
to. That was the meanest.
That was the meanest.
The meanest.
Thing.
The meanest title. Someone posted on Reddit a video with the title "Matt Riddle rolls a fatty." Clearly a reference to the marijuana that he is such a fan of.
Yeah, he partakes in.
And then instead, it's him like doing a roll over on Sheamus or on Cassius Ohno.
Huh, I just realized I never actually plugged the computer in.
The internet is jerks. Did it die?
No, it's just told me like, hey, you got low battery, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna take care of that real quick.
I'm gonna run down the rest of the card here. So Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. This will be a good match. It's gonna be more than what they did on NXT, where it was just kind of an immediate beatdown.
Hopefully,
hopefully
it's not just the same thing.
The NXT North American Championship, Ricochet defending against Johnny Gargano.
Get your barf bags.
Holy shit!
Because you're gonna be throwing up during that match.
This is gonna be incredible.
It's so sick.
I know you're being a douche about it, but
no, I'm being dead serious. This match is gonna be like balls to the wall, batshit insanity. Like I go into this fearing for someone's life.
Yeah, no, but it's gonna be awesome. The Tag Team Championship, NXT Tag Team Championship. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, the Undisputed Era, going up against Hanson and Rowe, the War Raiders.
Which, by the way, congratulations to Raymond Rowe. He got married to Nikki Cross.
No, he did not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Killian Dane.
Who the fuck did Rowe? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sarah Logan.
Sarah Logan. Did they get married?
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay, congratulations to Killian Dane for marrying Nikki Cross and Rowe for marrying Sarah Logan. And that was also recent, though, wasn't it?
The Killian Dane Nikki Cross wedding was like this week, I think.
And when was Rowe and
like a couple weeks ago?
Okay, did we mention it on the show?
I don't think so.
All right, well then I'm not completely out of the
No, yeah.
I just messed up the name. I apologize. You see one big foreign
bearded,
guy.
scary.
Yeah.
I don't think either of the War Raiders are foreign.
They look it.
The NXT Women's Championship match, Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair.
He's from Ohio.
Well, the faraway land of Cleveland.
Oh, yeah, Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler. That's going to be good.
Really Belair, undefeated.
I'm really surprised that they've given Belair so much. Like I thought she was really good in the tournament, but I didn't think she would be the one.
Seems like they're really behind her,
really
making her a big
the
deal.
hype machine behind her.
That said, I actually
cool.
kind of think Baszler retains.
I do too.
And then the match I might be looking forward to the most this weekend, Ciampa, that bastard, defends his NXT championship against Aleister Black.
You've got 2 matches on this show, which are guaranteed show stealers.
Yes.
Maybe 3 with the Undisputed Era versus War Raiders. Maybe 4 with Matt Riddle versus Cassius. Maybe every single match is going to steal the show.
NXT always kills it. I am as excited I am as for CCW. I am bummed I don't get to watch this live. So I'm just going to be walking around with like earmuffs. Like no one talk about it. No one talk about it.
You could watch it live. Just be backstage.
Just like on my phone. No, because I want to do stuff with the show. But so yeah, NXT is this Saturday. That's going to be just phenomenal show.
Yes.
And then that leads us into Sunday with the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Rusev.
One of the big 4.
Rusev defending against his United States Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. That's on the pre-show. Also on the pre-show is the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy defends against Akira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, and Kalisto. That's another one that could steal the weekend.
Absolutely.
Depending on how much time they get.
Rusev versus Nakamura, I don't think it'll steal the show, but that's also, depending on how on they are, that could be a great match.
It'll be great. Yeah. It'll be good. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's such a bummer that like the U.S. title feels almost secondary because they're not really doing anything with either of these guys right now.
Right.
The SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro against Miz and Shane McMahon.
I still think Miz and Shane are going to win. I really, really do.
I mean, The Bar did lose to a 10-year-old.
Poor The Bar.
Yeah.
Poor The Bar. I think it's going to be a pretty good match, though. For all the things we tell you about Shane McMahon, he's not the worst wrestler in the world. No. Just his punches.
And the idea of Miz and Shane being this kind of uneasy alliance is fun. Like, and granted, that's a personal thing. I'm enjoying it though.
But do you find it insulting that they would put? And again, I know wrestling's a work, but you have two guys like Cesaro and Sheamus who are like big, strong men's, and they're such great wrestlers, and you put him against The Miz, who's a great wrestler in his own right, and Shane McMahon, who's not a wrestler. He always has been portrayed as tough, but if you were a wrestler, and let's say your pride was so much, and they told you you're going to lose to this one, you already lost to a 10-year-old boy, and now you're losing to the son of the owner of the company who's not a wrestler. Do you have enough respect for Shane McMahon to go, that's fine, I'm a part of the show, this is cool? Or is there a part of you that kind of goes, man...
If you were a professional wrestler and you were genuinely mad that you have to lose to someone because they aren't tough enough, then you shouldn't be a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
But there is a pride issue. Like, there is definitely a pride issue.
I don't think there is.
I think there are a ton of wrestlers that would
Yes, there are a ton of wrestlers that would have an issue with it.
I get what you're saying now.
But that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like...
I think it's stupid when a wrestler doesn't want to do whatever that they're told to do. I've always thought that. Like, I've always thought wrestling is just like any other job. You are paid to do what they tell you to do. If they tell you to look at guys like Adrian Adonis. If they tell you go out and act like at the time when, you know, being homosexual was not really a fun thing. I know that sounds stupid, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
They have you go out there and basically be flamboyant.
Pretend to be gay so they would
they'll hate you. Yeah. He did it. And I think that if you're taking a paycheck from someone and they tell you do this thing, you can't go, but I'm insert name. Why should I have to do it?
I think it's a separate issue of like, hey, go out and portray this character, and hey, go out and lose this fake match. Like this isn't a test of skill. Like you aren't actually competing. Like, yeah, there will be people that I shouldn't have to, lose to someone because...
Why is a guy like me
like storyline,
like
kind of, yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm getting ready to talk in circles, but I don't think that, and especially for people who've been doing it for as long as Sheamus and Cesaro, I don't think they care. They, they know how good they are, like how talented they are as a wrestler, and...
But, it reminds me of, for whatever reason, of, like, Vince Russo. When everyone shits on Vince Russo and like, oh, he was a writer, he doesn't know wrestling. Everyone shits on him. I didn't want to do what he said, and they complain about the stuff he did. But like, if they're paying Vince Russo to be the head writer, and the head writer tells you to do something, should you complain about it and refuse to do it when you're taking a paycheck from this company?
I mean, if it's an empirically bad idea, but again, that I think it's for me. I think it's a separate issue of, hey, go portray this character. That character's stupid, or go have your character do this thing. Like, it's a fine line between, hey, lose to this person who isn't a full-time wrestler, and hey, you're going to lose to this person, but the match is going to be an old lady on a forklift.
Yeah, but I mean, they're all under the same banner, aren't they? Like, you take paycheck, you do what you're told.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, we're on the same side of it.
Yeah,
because it's.
I agree. I think we're on the same side. We'll stop spinning in circles here. Yeah. Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks for the women's title
will be an amazing match.
Will be really good. Do you think they'll match the intensity though of the Charlotte match or the Becky stuff?
I think they could, only for the fact that Sasha Banks is really good at at making us think that she's legitimately dying. And Ronda Rousey is really good at making it look like she's legitimately killing someone.
Yeah.
But that said, I think the Becky Asuka match will be better. But like the Ronda Sasha match could be more intense, if that makes sense.
I got you. Speaking of, Asuka versus Becky Lynch for the women's title on SmackDown.
I still wholeheartedly believe that Becky loses this match and then interjects herself into the women's Rumble later the night.
I could see that happening. That's a very Stone Cold thing to do, and she's very much like New Age Stone Cold.
Remind me of my once we get later on in the card to give you my crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy.
All right. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship will be a phenomenal match.
Yes.
Absolutely
They
phenomenal.
proved that they can put on like a New Japan level match in WWE at the last pay-per-view. So I'm very excited for the rematch.
And the rivalry just gets more and more heated in a good way. We talked about Buddy Murphy, Tozawa, Itami, and Kalisto. For the Universal Championship, Brock Lesnar defends against Finn Balor, which on paper sounds like this could either be amazing or a disaster depending on how they book it.
Apparently, Lesnar handpicked Balor as who he wanted to wrestle. So
that's neat.
If Lesnar gives a crap, and he's proven that he can have amazing matches with smaller guys. Look at AJ Styles. Look at Daniel Bryan.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. I mean, like recently.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm focused on. Yeah. Dalton. I've talked to Dalton about this. Dalton genuinely believes that Finn Balor will win, and he will become the new Universal Champion.
I think they're saving that for Mania.
I also think they're saving that for Mania. I think it's going to be Seth Rollins who takes it off of him. I also think that we will know pretty much as soon as he comes out, either as the Demon or not.
He already said he's not coming as the Demon.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, and why? Oh, this is why I hate that. Why wouldn't you? This is for the Universal Championship at one of the big four. Why would you not tap into the Demon to go against the Beast?
Why are you saving that? What do you say? And maybe that's a throw. Maybe he said that to throw off, so when he does come out as the Demon, it's
People
a
be
surprise.
Like, oh, wait.
Well, he said we're going to do that.
Because at the same time, like, the Demon is still, he's undefeated. The Demon is undefeated.
Right.
Even though he's only had, like, 4 or 5 appearances on the main roster or something like that.
But there was a time where we were afraid that they were overusing him, remember? We were like, oh, man.
For NXT, but now it's been so long since we've seen it.
Was the last time against Bray Wyatt?
Maybe. I honestly don't remember. So
I wish Dalton was here. He knows little things like this.
But at the same time, like, I don't want to see Lesnar be the one to
destroy
also
the Demon.
beat the Demon. That said, I think Strowman, I think Finn Balor will kick out of 1F5, and then I think Strowman will, and it'll end in a cluster.
I don't think he'll kick out of the F5 though. I don't.
That's what that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not going to be surprised when he doesn't.
Allie, what do you think? Who's going to win that?
Lesnar.
Good man. All right, we got the Women's Royal Rumble match, which I believe will probably be the main event. It could be.
It could be.
It really could be.
I kind of think they're going to do one to open the show and one to close the show, probably.
Here is the confirmed people that are in it so far, Allie. This is for you because you asked about it earlier.
Yes.
Carmella, Ember Moon, Natalia, Bayley, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Alicia Fox, Zelina Vega, Naomi, Mickie James, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Charlotte Flair, Tamina, Dana Brooke, Lana, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, and Lacey Evans. Those are the confirmed people in the Rumble. So that's 23 of the 30. So that leaves 7 spots, which you have to assume are at least going to be probably maybe Trish Stratus, Lita, the people that they always
Surprise
bring back, Kelly,
someone
people
from
like that.
Probably someone from NXT too.
Right. So Asa, what did you want to know? Who we think's going to win?
Yeah,
who we want to win, and then we decided who's the wild card.
Yeah, like a surprise entrance.
Right. So Allie, you first. Who's going to win? Who do you want to win? And who would be your like surprise? Like, oh, whoa.
Charlotte's gonna win. I want Ember Moon to win.
Carmella's got number 30 though.
We do have that confirmed. We have the number 30.
Carmella would be cool too. The problem is I don't know who the surprise would be. Becky?
For the women's match.
Becky would count because she's not advertised for the match because she's in the championship match against Asuka.
Yeah. I think. Well, who do you want to win though? You want Ember Moon to win?
I said Ember Moon.
I think that my wild card would be like Io Shirai or Kairi Sane. I think one of them will be in it. Wasn't Kairi Sane in the last years?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure she was. So I think Io Shirai would probably be a better choice for it. I think that Alexa Bliss will probably win if she's healthy, like back full time. I think that they're going to start pushing her to the moon again. My dark horse for this, though, would be Mandy Rose because they've been really putting a emphasis on her.
That her and Naomi story, especially.
And I know they see
the dumbest person on the WWE roster. I'm still mad about that.
I know. But I think they see billions of dollars. They see money on Mandy Rose, and they should. She's good in the ring. She is supermodel level of gorgeous. So they would in the 90s. She would already be champion
12 times. Yeah,
12 times. So I think Mandy Rose could very well take it.
I think that Charlotte wins to set up the Ronda thing because that's still very much a thing coming out of TLC. who I would like to see win, though.
Oh, I don't think I said who I think will win. Because if I didn't, I also think Charlotte's going to win.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
Man, I don't even know who I would really want to see win, because it's either... Because we've seen most of like the dream matchups we've gotten already, for me at least. And it would require like crossing over from either someone from Raw going to SmackDown to wrestle Asuka, or someone from SmackDown to go to Raw to wrestle Rousey.
Which they could, right? They have the option.
Yeah, you choose. Man, actually, I don't know if they've said this year.
Well, because I think it is, because I'm pretty sure when Charlotte came out for that promo, she said once she wins,
she's challenging Ronda Rousey.
like
I do. Yeah,
she's like, the choices.
I think you're right. Yeah. So yeah, that could still be on the table. Honestly, who I want to win would be Becky or Charlotte, just because like they've proven that we never got to see the Becky Ronda match. I have no doubt that would be amazing, and what we got from Charlotte Ronda was amazing.
It was my match of the year.
Yeah, and I would have no problem seeing that again at WrestleMania. But like I said, there's going to be the surprise entrant that's not Becky, Victoria,
because of her retirement. Yeah,
and I could see her this being kind of this could be kind of a push to the Hall of Fame too.
Yeah, I would dig that.
So
that'd be very cool.
that Victoria is my
maybe have her come out and face off against like Mickie James
or like anyone like Ronda, like
Stevie Richards.
Yeah, he's going to be in it.
That'd be very cool. I swear to God, if Nia Jax wins,
I don't think she will.
If she does, I'm done. I'm putting it right now. I'm putting it in the ether. I swear to God, this is true. If Nia Jax wins the Women's Royal Rumble, I will quit Pro Wrestling Unscripted. That's it. No, I'm serious. All right, Men's Royal Rumble. Mark it down. Men's Royal Rumble. 20 of the 30 entrants have been announced. We have R-Truth, Drew McIntyre.
R-Truth coming in at number 30.
Number 30. Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Seth Rollins, Jeff Hardy, Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe. John Cena was on there, but I guess he's out.
Yep.
So that's 19 people now. Elias, Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Apollo Crews, Andrade, Mustafa Ali, Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil. I bet he falls.
Did you see that thing from Raw?
And Randy Orton. No, I didn't.
Of him cutting the promo about like, everyone said it would take a miracle for Titus O'Neil to win the Royal Rumble. Well, guess what? I believe in miracles. And then like a production person walks behind him. So he starts yelling like, "You're going to walk through my shot?" And he starts screaming like, "No respect," about not having any respect. And then they cut him off. And he's like yelling about, "No, you're not going to cut my segment early. You're not cutting my," and then they cut it off or something.
No, I did not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who he made mad, but
well, he touched Vince that one time.
Yeah,
he's also a glorious human being.
Yeah,
like
donating school supplies and movie tickets. Yeah,
he does
that monster.
And also a special place in my heart because he actually retweeted one of my tweets once, which was like the pinnacle of my existence. Allie, who do you got in this one? Royal Rumble, by the way, one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time.
It can either be so bad or the best thing of the year.
Yeah.
I think Samoa Joe's gonna win. I would also be happy if Samoa Joe won.
And your surprise would be if Samoa Joe won.
I would also be happy if Kofi won, but we talked about that like every year.
Yep.
And then the surprise, Abyss, because we talked about that earlier.
Don't steal my spot. See how it is. Don't worry, I got a better surprise for you.
But they're gonna call him the Void.
The Void.
It's actually kind of a cool name for wrestling. I think that Seth Rollins will win. I do. I think that's the most obvious choice. Of who's listed here, the one I would want to win, Kofi Kingston's always going to have that special spot in my heart because he deserves it. Any of the New Day, honestly.
Yeah.
But of the picks that I have, I would say Drew McIntyre. Yeah. Because I think he could also be very likely to win. He's a beast. As far as surprise, I'm just going to say it. It's never going to happen. Kenny Omega. Yeah, it's not going to happen, but I'm going to say it because Dalton's not here. Yeah. Kenny Omega. If Kenny Omega comes out, I don't even think he'll get the big reaction like AJ Styles did, but I think that it will go down as one of the most iconic moments in wrestling and shots fired against AEW almost immediately, which is why I don't think it'll happen. But Kenny Omega would be my like literal jump out of my seat, throw Allie off, and go, holy shit. Yeah.
Like when
Zack Ryder won. What about you?
So I also think Seth Rollins will win. Who I want to win, Kofi is of course number one because it's such an easy way, especially him against Daniel Bryan would be just so good.
Because it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that he has to win the title. It just means that he gets the match. And Kofi versus Daniel would be
for me
well deserved.
For me, the fact that it hasn't happened yet, Kofi should be a world champion.
Yeah.
And if Kofi were to dethrone, this new psychotic Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania to finally because Big E put it best: give the man his damn flowers while he can still smell them.
Right.
So Kofi's my number one. My number two for who I think, and also who I think could potentially win the whole thing, Mustafa Ali. Mm-hmm. To set because they've kind of low key.
That guy's got a jetpack on him right now.
Yeah. And I think that would be really, really great. My surprise entry though is we talk about Becky coming out and taking out Carmella for the number 30 spot.
I don't like where this is going.
R-Truth comes out. Becky lays him out, and she wins the Men's Royal Rumble to challenge Ronda and Charlotte because Charlotte already won her match. So turning it into a triple threat.
I want this.
Okay, but could they do that? Wouldn't she have to challenge a man?
Absolutely fucking not. They won't.
What if they did? What if Becky challenged
if that happened,
Daniel Bryan for the title at WrestleMania?
Well, that would be amazing. But if Becky comes out, if Becky wins the Men's Royal Rumble, I demand a statue erected in my honor at every single one of whoever's listening to this home. You will have to submit pictures. And yeah, I know that's the dumbest thing I'll say. That's Dalton level of stupid.
But I want it.
But exactly.
Happen.
But
all right.
It would be kind
if
of
Nia
awesome.
Jax wins the women's rumble and I quit, but then Becky wins the men's rumble, I'll come back. All in one night.
That's the only way.
All in one night.
Legit though, I think we'll see people like EC3, who had that really awkward segment where he just wasn't talking on Raw. I don't get what the hell they're trying to do with him, but.
Do you like to see people burn money? Do you like it? That's what it is.
And this is one of my favorite parts of the Rumble is the surprises.
Yes.
Other than just kind of people like Zack Ryder or people who aren't announced but are already on the roster coming out.
Yeah.
Even at NXT, usually someone from NXT gets a pretty good spot.
I remember when Rusev was in it years ago. First time I ever saw Rusev.
That's how Rusev got his introduction. Adam Cole was in it last year. After just a brutal match. It wasn't War Games right before. No, I don't think it was War Games. I don't know.
So.
But so I'm kind of curious as to who the NXT person could be. I could see Ricochet doing something crazy. Gargano or Ciampa, either one would be good. Especially
if they lose the title. If Ciampa loses the title the night before, he could show up in the Rumble.
Yeah, or even if he's still champion.
Yeah.
They could do that because I think Andrade was champion when he did
the Rumble
when he was in the Rumble. But yeah, other than because I really don't think Kenny Omega will be there, and I can't. Other than we talked about Abyss earlier, I can't really think of any big surprise names that I genuinely think would happen. Chris Jericho's not going to be in the Rumble.
If Marco hadn't gotten hurt, I would say there was a possibility maybe Marco stunned.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have flipped my shit, especially if he didn't tell us.
Oh my god, yeah. I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
I would be waiting at his house.
Yeah. You make that
Let
drive.
me into one while I'm taking vacation.
Disguise yourself as Bailey. Wait for him.
But yeah, I honestly don't there isn't a Kenny Omega is the big question mark.
Right.
There could be other
Kushida.
Yeah.
Is this up?
I don't know if his contract's up or not. I also don't think he is a recognizable enough name to debut in the Rumble. I mean, I mean that no disrespect.
Right.
I just,
American audience.
The average American audience isn't going to know who that is.
Right. We didn't even know who Dawson was.
We know who we are, we just don't know which one. So yeah, I don't know. I'm here for it. Both of these cards look absolutely stacked.
We'll be here on Sunday to watch it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot
of fun.
It's gonna be a great show.
It's always a fun time when we get together and watch wrestling. Pizza, gaming, it's a good time. Lastly, we have CCW New Year's Chaos this Saturday at the AC Braze Arena here in Cape Girardeau, and they'll go over the card real quick. It's going to be another fantastic show. We are all way more involved than we ever should have been in CCW, so you'll see us there for sure. And huge. Speaking of WWE, the tag team championship is on the line as the Wise Church defends against Sexy Sarge O'Reilly and former WWE star Swoggle is going to be there. And I can't wait for this because, one, I want to see Swoggle. 2, I want to talk to him about the Muppets. If I don't get to talk to him about the Muppets, I will quit this show. Again. We've also got in a street fight, and that's with an exclamation point, so you know it's serious, our very own Dalton Anthony.
Well, just real quick.
But first.
When I was talking about it on CCW Live, when Jason told me that match, I legitimately just started giggling.
Sergeant Swoggle?
Seeing Sergeant Swoggle work
Sexy
together
Swoggle?
is going to be it's going to be so amazing.
Dalton Anthony versus Justin the Jew Smart in a street fight. That's going to be gross because we saw the match that they had in Charleston 2 weeks ago because this is our second show this month. And Justin beat the shit out of Dalton to the point that he came back literally carried by Mandy and Allie, blood pouring out of his mouth. So I'm a little worried about this one. I'll be out there.
It's fine. This one's a street fight.
Yeah, so it's all legal.
Yeah.
I'll be out there to make sure Dalton's okay.
Mandy was talking about Justin was sore. Justin beat Dalton so bad he made him sore.
He hurt his hand.
Yeah.
We got the Pure Openweight Championship Open Challenge from Farmer Billy Hills. We know that Hollis Giroux will be answering that. I'll be out there to make sure Hollis is doing okay on that one too. And then we have the tournament to crown a new CCW champion because unfortunately Marco Stunt is hurt. He can't defend the title. First round matchups are Dexter Roswell, who, by the way, is just great to see him every time he's at the show. I don't know if he's listening, but we love him. Versus the handicapped hero, Gregory Iron. That's going to be a good match. Gregory Iron wrestled Ace Hawkins about a year ago and put on a clinic. Yeah. And that was fantastic.
Gregory Iron's really great.
He is. It's super nice, too.
Going from like when we first started watching Dexter over in Stride to like where he's progressed, like even like the stuff that he's doing in Stride still that I catch.
Just him as a person, as a wrestler, and as a character.
And I kind of like this more dark, the mean streak.
The face paint, the bloody suit, he looks like a comic book villain.
Yeah,
and I love it. Him and SB together are so good.
Yeah, I love that.
Jackson Crowley versus the Nephilim, Damon Salavino. I think so. Here's my fear about this match, and I'm completely legit, like no kayfabe here. I'm afraid that because there's so many matches, this is going to be the sacrificial match that they'll do some kind of shenanigans where the match ends really quick.
Well,
I would love to see Jackson and Damone go for a long time because I think that would be a great match.
I mean, that's the entire this entire tournament is just like Jason announced those like the first round matches, and I'm like, all of those are main event caliber.
Yeah,
like those are all matches I want to see go 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
And it is that thing like because there's more matches to go, you have to whoever wins in the first round then has to compete 2 more times. There's only, we talk about, how excited we were at Charleston. We're like, this show's going to end at 9:30?
Yeah.
Like, we were ecstatic.
And look back to the Ashley McClure tournament. It was an 8-person tournament, and Marco versus Austin.
8 seconds.
Remember when we saw on the board 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And we're like, they're going to wreck that shit. 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Over. And that's what I'm afraid this match is going to be.
Yeah.
But I think if given time, that's going to be a fantastic match. By the way, our condolences to Jackson Crowley.
Yes.
Over the passing of his mother. We love you. We really do. Brandon SB Espinoza versus I put the on the newest show. It's the ace that runs the place. I've got to do the whole thing. Ace Hawkins. I think this one double DQ because they hate each other so much. That's also going to be a stupid match.
Yeah, no, that one might be the one, like on paper, the one that I'm most excited for.
Yep. Well, depending on how these matchups go, though, like that second round,
I mean,
knows?
it's because we don't know how the bracket's going to be laid out either, so we don't know even who wins in those, like whoever wins in those, what the second round's going to look like.
Someone mentioned on Chaos, or on Live, even though we already know it because we're so smart, that Brandon was Ace's first opponent in CCW back when he wore the guy liner.
Well, I forgot about that.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was a thing. I was like, that was
because I remember them saying that Brandon brought Ace in because they worked together in other places.
Yeah.
And Ace had a guy liner, and we shit all over him.
Oh, and he was so much fun.
Like
that was another one from like the first time he came in. It was just like, yep, I
want to see this guy again.
Yep, and it was the same thing like with Billy. Like my first experience at CCW as part of the show was him coming through the curtain, buy my merch, and just like from that moment, hook, line, sinker. I will follow you to the ends of the earth.
And the last of the first round, we got Derek, by God King, going up against...
By God, greater than great.
Yeah.
Get it right.
By God, greater than great. Derek King going up against Dirty Jake Durden, who I heard what you guys said on Live, 100% agree. That look of his now, magnifique.
Chef kiss.
Yeah.
Chef kiss.
This is going to be a great show, and
that one's another like mashup of styles that I'm really excited to see.
Same.
That's one of the things I like about doing CCW Live is I can just like actually gush about them and like, but do it in a storyline sense, but it still makes sense because it's like, no, these are actually what I think.
You're just Ace that turned up to an 11.
Yeah, kind of.
So
Marnie, be nice to me.
Oh God. I'm sad that we don't have a women's match on the show, but I know they just had the title change in Charleston.
Well, and that's kind of part of the reason that I'm also bummed is because I think like this is the first canon story or canon show I guess of the year. So it would be nice if we could get 2D. Mm-hmm. Which that said, Jason loves to surprise people. So maybe I'm not entirely convinced that there won't be something planned.
Maybe one of the
like an appearance or something.
One of the guys can't make it, so 2D will be in the.
Well, no, not even that.
I would
put her in the tournament.
Yeah.
No, I like. And again, this is not like some sort of like teaser inside information. So please do not listen to this and think,
we don't get that.
Oh, that means 2D will probably be there. We should go. Like,
when
that's
we
not
say
it at all.
that Jason likes to surprise people,
That
he
includes
likes
us.
to surprise his own people.
Yeah, that includes us.
Like, we know nothing.
We know nothing.
But I'm sure there's something planned like in the February show or.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is going to be a great show. You can still get tickets. There are second row and general admission tickets will be at the door. I believe $13 for second row, $11 for general admission.
And then $7 for bleacher.
Yeah. And you can also get those at Gaming Grounds. We have a block of tickets for second row and general admission. Same prices. And you can also get 20% off a video game when you buy it. Come and see me for details. Asa will be here this Saturday from 1 to 2, along with Farmer Billy Hills for a meet and greet, which normally I do, but now obviously due to reasons I can't. Asa is taking that over, and he's going to be playing WWE 2K19 with Billy. So please come on out, see Billy Hills. Did you not know about this?
I did not.
Yeah, so we're going to have...
That's news.
We're going to have 2K19 set up, and people can come play with Billy.
Yes, play with Billy, because I have literally never touched that game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're not a fan.
No.
Because it was supposed to be Dalton originally. Because I was like, yeah, you can play 2K19 with Dalton. So, maybe Asa will play and you can just stomp him into the dirt.
Yeah.
Feel better about yourself, kids. That is this Saturday.
Punch down.
1 to 2 here at Gaming Grounds at Cape. Come meet Billy Hills, the farmer himself. And then 7 o'clock, doors open at 6 at the AC Brazil Arena for New Year's Chaos. Courtesy of CCW, Papa John's, and Simo Voice, F&M Memorabilia, and Cape Comics. So a lot of great stuff. A lot of big announcements, too, from CCW this week about who's going to be showing up at Comic-Con and the next couple of shows. We're going to cover all that next week, along with the results of the show and what happened. Until then, we will see you guys tomorrow for Podzilla After Dark AD here on the 85 Network. Asa, take us out.
Go to facebook.com/Podzilla1985. Give us a like. Check out the incredible fan video.
Make songs
that was
about us.
posted.
Yeah.
We love that. We appreciate that.
That was great.
So check that out. Let us know what you thought. Who do you think's going to win the Royal Rumble? Who do you want to see at the Royal Rumble? Tell me how asinine my theory that Becky will win the men's Royal Rumble is. It's
pretty asinine.
I dare you.
Oh, my bad.
It's brilliant.
It's too brilliant.
Or maybe you think that you know what that idea is so money. I want to give you money. Patreon.com/Podzilla1985. For just $1, you get all of the pre-shows that we do all month.
Do you like talking about Flavor Flav?
Do you like listening to Friendship's End? Because that's going to be the fallout of this one, and we'll leave it at that. But the pre-shows
what did I say? I don't even remember now.
We'll talk about it after we're done recording to the wider audience.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize to me.
I didn't know you're such a fan of Flavor Flav.
You ain't gonna apologize to me. So patreon.com/Podzilla1985.
Yeah, boy.
And then Podzilla1985.com as well. You can go back, listen to old episodes, listen to us talk about, last year's Rumbles. After the Rumble this Sunday, come back and, listen to this episode and listen to how wrong I was.
I bet we all were, except about Seth Rollins.
Yeah, probably.
Money in the bank.
But other than that, that's all the plugs.
And that'll be it for us. We'll see you guys tomorrow for After Dark. Until then, later.